Guys, welcome back. We're here in the garage. We got the little guys hanging. Wheels are off, and today we're gonna finish what I started after a 13-hour day of work is getting these guys fully off, and we're gonna take a look at icing them out. I always call it that. We're gonna put screws in there. We're gonna put some spikes in them. Spikes go through the inside of the tire and out. Studs go from the outside of the tire and in, and do not penetrate through in the ideal conditions. So we're going to be looking at doing some spikes coming up and through, and I've got some examples of some old tires that I've built, and we're going to take a look at those because every tire is a little different, and I've made some mistakes in the past, and I'm going to go through that a little bit and break it down. Why I put screws where, what screws work, and really what's going on. I get a lot of questions when people see the tires, and we'll go over this more on how the screws don't just poke back through and hit the tube, and it's a pretty easy question to answer. So when we get to it, we'll break that down a little bit, maybe do a little math behind it, but not too much. This is our first tire, second one sitting over there behind Miss BMW, and yeah, we got a heater in here today. It's about 9 degrees out, maybe a little colder, probably about 11 o'clock now. So we're gonna get chopping away at this. So I do use some pretty cool tools that I like. The Motion Pro bead breaker. Buy it, have it if you want to do it. Another thing, I see some people talk about it, others don't. This is just soapy water. This is a little mustard bottle. Works pretty good. You can hit exact spots, and yeah, I like that. Motion Pro, Motion Pro, Motion Pro. I like all their stuff. And protect your rims. Someone has obviously done maybe new tires on this at one point, and maybe they didn't use them, and oh well, couple little dings, not a big deal. So tires are off now. I'm gonna start laying out where the screws need to go, and I need to figure out if I have enough screws. You buy a lot, but you use a lot. So I'm gonna figure that out, kind of start laying this out, and we'll catch you back when we got some screws maybe poking through. Row 1 done. That's going all the way around. This is gonna be for the front tire. It looks pretty sweet. I love it. I love it. And then I just found placement for the side screws. You'll see I got some layout lines going through there. The easiest way I found to do this: roll of electrical tape. It gives you a pretty nice gap all the way around there. So you'll see we got side screws started there, and the other side we laid out that one. So we got 3 poked through there, and it's just a lot more screwing. Hopefully my optimal screw length was these guys, and it's also what I had, but I think we're gonna clear the little front fender. We don't wanna hit tubes on the forks. We don't wanna hit this front fender. And I've played this game a couple times before. So I have limited them to the same width, excuse me, not whip, but width, as the tire profile itself. As we look down this, hopefully you can see they don't really stick out past the tire, and that's what we need. And that's gonna give us the same hookup and tire profile as the original tire tread. So this should work out pretty good. I'm really liking this tire tread. These are, see, it's not so much compound, it's not so much tread, it's actually the profile. And this has a really nice coned profile, which is gonna be sick in the corner. So this is a Metzeler, oh, what is it? A Metzeler Sport Tech MS Interact. It's a 110/70/17 pretty common for these small little sport bikes. So I'm gonna keep at it. I got a lot of screws and stuff in this thing. Hopefully we'll get one tire stuffed on today, maybe two. And you kind of check out what she's gonna look like. She's gonna be hanging for a little while. We haven't found the right foam to cover the floor yet, but let's keep rocking. Okay, so quick update. I have all the screws going around the side. You can see that follows the profile and the outside dimension of the tire. And then so I just started placing center screws. So this is kind of a new thing for me. I am limiting my transition screws. So this is all about weight displacement. You'll say, why don't the screws poke back through? Well, the weight displacement. You're only putting so many pounds per square inch on each screw, yada, yada, yada. It's not that much, actually. So I'm gonna go with just a single row right down the middle here. Not down the middle, but down the middle of the two rows, we'll have this row. And down the middle of these two rows, we'll have this row. And I'm gonna try and hope, I'm hoping, this is just hope, that it'll help with snow packing up in there. As ice gets kicked up and berms get hit and it doesn't get maintained, snow starts to pack in your tires and builds up on the track, and then you don't have any spikes poking into the ice. So I'm hoping this will help, like a paddle or a mud tire, sling out the mud and the sand. This will maybe help sling out the ice and the snow. So I'm gonna continue on. That was about 30-40 minutes to do those outside two rows, so we'll keep going on these inside two, and we'll have this first tire screwed up in a good way, I think. Okay guys, so we got one tire down, one tire done, at least for the screws, the spike portion of it. Next, we gotta seal it. So we're literally gonna use a construction sealant. I've never tried this before. I think it's gonna work really well. I use this in construction all the time. This is Sikaflex 1A. There's SL1A or 1A SL. I can't quite remember, but that's gonna be self-leveling. I don't think that's gonna be what you want in this application. It's pretty runny. So it's some old stuff. It's not gonna squirt out the gun. So I just cut the side of the tube open. I'm gonna paint it on in there with said paintbrush, just an old one I used for staining, and gonna coat the entire thing and let it dry while I'm spiking up the other one. So let's get that done. Okay, so we have gooped this entire tire all the way around on the inside, pretty well I'd say. 2 tubes went into it, and we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna help Izzy put away some laundry and start building the next tire. That one, obviously being the rear, is nearly twice the size. Not quite twice as many screws, but a little bit more time to build that one. We are still gonna run a tube in this guy. I think I would love to say that I sealed it well enough to run it tubeless. I wouldn't mind trying, actually. I think we're gonna run a tube on it, so anyways, yeah, so off to the next tire. Okay, so it's been a couple hours now, and this stuff's still kind of tacky. It takes a while to get really fully hardened. So that's just layer 1. Layer 2 is gonna be another dirt bike tube, cut in half, just right down the middle. And the valve obviously gets cut out, the valve stem there. It's kind of nice that it's powdered. It helps with any rubbing between the other tube that we're gonna put in there. Even though they are cast wheels, we're just gonna cut that nipple off, run a dirt bike tube up through there, and bada bing bada boom. We're not worried about these guys leaking. So I'm gonna get that done and the rims prepped, and we'll start slipping these guys on. And that's it. We are kind of done with this one. We got wheels back on. I could not have done it without Izzy. It was pretty painful, even with 2. So we're strapped up. We got them both on there. She's gonna float for a minute. We'll figure out a way to move her around, the garage safely, maybe on some rollers, maybe get a foam platform down, not sure yet. Might also do some covers for them. So they're holding there good though. Got each one of them at 40. We'll check them in the mirror in the morning on the PSI gauge, on the tire pressure. But yeah, it's going good. So one thing, probably so late, I'm not even worried about it, but we have like the most minor scrape up in the front. I pulled the fender off and it's about 1.25 inches of it gets these tiny little scratches, and I mean they're just hairline, but you can hear it right there. So that's got to get tuned up. We might just trim it back a little bit. We might just let it wear through and see how it goes. Excuse me. Oh, I had some really good dinner, so steak's coming back up the other way. And so that's our one thing, but I'm pretty happy with the rear. The rear is always the one I'm kind of worried about, hitting the swing arm. Everything else can be pretty bad on a bike, bad on screws. So we have full clearance and not a single thing's touching. So I'm so happy about that. It's really kind of a crapshoot. I measured and I measured and I made sure that, you know, I used the longest screw that I could, and to get maximum penetration, of course, and I did, and nothing hit, so we did good. Yeah, here in the near future, we'll go through some other tires I've built in the past, some kind of more ice track tires, some other kind of street bikey dual sport tires I've done. You'll notice how many more screws they have, so this is kind of a new setup for me. Pretty excited. The temps have dropped off, the lakes are freezing, so in no time here we'll be on the ice. Still gonna do crash bars, gonna do some kind of heated grip, even if it's kind of hokey style. I might do some snow machine heated grips right over top of the original grips, and then do some nice foam tape or something over top of that, and it'll keep me nice and warm there. So these grips are pretty terrible, actually. Nothing on the KTM, but I have never felt a harder grip except on a kid's bike. Just kidding. But yeah, so I think that'll be it for today. Pretty happy with it. Ice tires are ready. Hey, I'd just like to thank everybody for watching these. I don't know how you found them or why you're watching them, but they're out here. So like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell, do all the stuff you're supposed to do. I really hope everyone made it to this part of the video. I know it's kind of goofy and we're still working through it and learning a lot, everyone, but again, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.